Have you ever felt everything too deeply, carried everyone's pain, and then one day, you just stopped? No more explaining, no more fixing, just silence. What if that silence isn't you giving up, but the exact moment you become truly dangerous? Today you'll discover the hidden psychological shift Carl Jung watched happen again and again, when the empath goes completely silent, and everyone around them starts to panic. One detail coming up in the next few minutes changes everything. Miss it and the whole story falls apart. Imagine the one person who always listened, always forgave, always felt your mood before you spoke. Suddenly says nothing. Their eyes still watch, but their mouth stays closed. That quiet feels louder than any argument ever could. Carl Jung treated hundreds of these people. He noticed the same pattern every single time. The kindest, most giving person in the room would reach a breaking point. After years of absorbing everyone else's chaos, they would go silent, not for days but sometimes for months. Jung didn't call this depression or anger. He called it the beginning of real power. If you've ever gone quiet after being hurt too many times, you already know how heavy that silence feels. And you've probably noticed how nervous it makes other people. One patient walked into Jung's office after 6 months of speaking only when absolutely necessary. Her family begged her to go back to normal. Her friends said she had changed. But Jung smiled and said, "No. For the first time, she is herself. Your silence isn't weakness. It's the moment the giant finally wakes up." If this is hitting close to home, tap the like button right now. It helps more people find this message. Most people think the empath goes silent because they're broken. Jung discovered the opposite. They go silent because they're healing, and that healing terrifies everyone who used to control them. But why do empaths spend their whole lives talking, fixing, explaining, until one day they just stop? Let's go back to the beginning and see exactly how it all starts. From the day they are little, empaths learn one simple rule. If I talk enough, maybe the storm will calm down. If I explain, soothe, and fix fast enough, everyone stays safe, including me. Silence feels more dangerous than screaming. Jung saw this in almost every childhood story. The empath child becomes the family translator, the peacekeeper, the emotional glue. Dad comes home angry, the child makes a joke. Mom is crying, the child brings tea and listens for hours. They believe words are magic shields. Talking equals survival. The more they speak, the less they get hurt. Over time, this turns into a habit stronger than steel. They explain, over-explain, apologize for things that aren't their fault, and beg people to understand. All because silence once meant punishment, yelling, or being ignored completely. You probably did it last week. Sent 10 long messages trying to make someone finally get it. You felt exhausted after, but you still hit send, because staying quiet felt scarier. Jung told the story of a woman who, at age 35, realized she had never once let a family argument end without her jumping in to fix it. Even when she was the one being attacked, she would end up comforting the attacker. She laughed in the session and said, "If I don't talk, they'll hate me." Jung asked, "And when you do talk, do they love you?" She went quiet for the first time in her life. All that talking never saved you. It only taught people they could keep hurting you and still get a soft landing. Here's the part most people never realize. The empath isn't kind because they are weak. They are kind because kindness became their armor. And armor is heavy. One day they get tired of carrying it. So what exactly happens in that one single moment when the armor finally drops? And the silence begins? Stay with me because this next part is the switch Jung waited entire years to witness. There is always one moment. Not a slow fade. Not a gentle decision. One single second when the empath looks at the person they have carried for years and feels nothing. No anger. No sadness. Just empty, clear, terrifying silence. Jung called it the final betrayal or the activation event. It can be huge, finding out a partner cheated for years, or tiny, one last dismissive eye roll after you poured your heart out. Doesn't matter the size. What matters is the meaning. In that instant, the brain finishes the pattern it has been collecting since childhood. Every promise that was broken, every time they were told you're too sensitive, Every apology they gave when they did nothing wrong clicks into place like the last piece of a puzzle. The mind says, I have given everything, and it was never enough. The body follows. The throat closes. Words die before they reach the mouth. Jung wrote that many patients could remember the exact sentence that killed their need to speak. One woman heard her mother say, "You always make everything about you." She never tried to explain herself again. You know that moment. Your chest gets tight, your eyes get hot, but no tears come. And for the first time ever, you don't open your mouth to fix it. A man in Jung's notes came home, found his wife with someone else, and simply said, "Okay." That was it. One word. He didn't scream, didn't ask why, didn't beg. He made tea, sat on the couch, and stared at the wall for 3 hours. His wife kept shouting, "Say something, fight, cry." He felt the strangest peace he had ever known. Jung later asked him what changed. He answered, "I finally stopped auditioning for people who already decided I wasn't enough." That tiny moment of silence isn't the end of you. It's the death of the version that was killing itself to be loved. Most people think the empath shuts down because they are hurt. Jung discovered the truth. They shut down because they are no longer hurt. The pain finally reached zero, and zero is power. But what is really happening inside when an empath chooses silence over another useless explanation? What Jung saw next shocked even him, because the quiet wasn't empty. It was full of something brand new. Stay with me, this is where it gets scary for everyone else. The phone lights up. 10 messages. Someone is panicking because you didn't answer in 2 hours. They type, "Are you mad at me? Why are you being cold?" You read it, feel nothing, and put the phone face down. That, my friend, is the sound of real power turning on. Going silent is not sulking. It's not the silent treatment kids give on the playground. It is deliberate energy withdrawal. Jung noticed the empath stops feeding the emotional slot machine that never paid out. No more words, no more tears, no more energy sent to people who only know how to take. The mouth closes, but the mind opens wide. Every second of silence is now used to listen to themselves for the first time in decades. They are not ignoring you. They are finally paying attention to the one person they always ignored, themselves. You've done it. You saw the text, felt the old urge to fix their panic, and then you simply didn't. And the world didn't end. That felt weirdly good. One patient stopped answering her sister's daily drama calls. Week 1. Sister left 47 voicemails screaming she was being ignored. Week 4. Sister showed up crying, begging, "Talk to me like before." The patient looked at her calmly and said, "I am talking. You just never listened when I said I was drowning." The sister had no answer. Jung wrote in the margin, "Silence speaks the truth words never could." Your silence is not punishment. It is protection finally aimed at the right person. Here's what nobody tells you. When the empath goes silent, the people who used to drain them suddenly feel starving. And starvation makes people show who they really are. Because now the empath isn't absorbing anymore. They're watching. And what they see in that quiet staring is the part that turns them into something unstoppable. Get ready, because next comes the mirror phase, and it terrifies everyone in the room. Picture this, you're sitting at the family dinner. The empath is quiet, just eating. No fixing, no jokes, no smoothing things over. Suddenly every lie in the room starts sweating. Jung called this the mirror phase. The empath's energy is no longer leaking outward. Turns into pure observation. They notice the tiny twitch when someone lies. The fake laugh that doesn't reach the eyes. The way Uncle John changes the subject the second money is mentioned. They don't say a word, but their calm eyes do the talking. People feel seen on a level that makes them want to run. Jung wrote that activated empaths become walking lie detectors. One patient walked into a room and within 5 minutes knew who was cheating on their spouse, who was stealing, and who was planning to leave the country. She never opened her mouth. The guilty ones started confessing anyway. You felt it too. You sit quietly and suddenly someone blurts out, "Why are you looking at me like that?" You weren't even staring. They just felt the mirror. One woman went silent after her best friend betrayed her. At the next group hangout, she said almost nothing. Halfway through the night, the friend broke down crying and admitted she had been spreading rumors for months. She screamed, "Stop judging me with your eyes." The empath calmly answered, "I'm not judging. I'm just not helping you hide anymore." The whole table went dead quiet. Jung would have stood up and applauded. The scariest thing in the world isn't an angry empath. It's a calm one who finally sees everything. Here's the twist nobody expects. The empath isn't trying to make you nervous. They're actually being kinder than ever, because now they refuse to play along with lies that hurt everyone, including you. But it's not just the liars who get uncomfortable. Even the good people, the friends, the family who never meant harm, start panicking when the empath goes silent. And what happens next reveals who really loved you, and who only loved what you did for them. Stay with me. This part hurts, but it's the truth that sets you free. You expected the toxic ones to freak out when you went quiet. But now your nicest friend is texting, "Are you okay? You seem distant." Even people who never hurt you suddenly act like you died. Jung noticed it every single time. When the empath stops carrying the emotional load, everyone feels the weight drop on them. Normal people were used to you reading their mood and fixing it before they even asked. You were the free therapist, the cheerleader, the human charger. Now they have to feel their own feelings for the first time in years. That feels heavy and scary. They're not evil. They just never learned how to carry themselves. Your silence forces them to grow up fast or admit they never wanted to. You went quiet to protect yourself, and suddenly everyone acts like you are the problem. Classic. One man went silent after years of being the family fixer. His mom called crying, "You're scaring me. Talk like before." He said calmly, "Mom, I'm the same person. I'm just not doing your emotions for you anymore." She hung up and told the relatives he had gone cold. Jung laughed when he heard the story and said, "She didn't lose a son. She lost a free service. Your silence didn't break their heart. It broke their comfort." Here's the part that stings. Most people never loved the real you. They loved the version that never let them feel uncomfortable. When that version dies, their love dies with it. And that's actually a gift in disguise. Because while the outside world is panicking and accusing you of changing, something massive is happening inside the silence. Something Jung called the most important work a human being can ever do. Get ready. This next part is where the old you burns away and the real you finally gets room to breathe. While everyone outside is losing their minds because you stopped talking, inside your head, the loudest revolution of your life is happening. For the first time ever, there is space. And in that space, you finally meet yourself. Jung said this exact silence is where true individuation begins. No more voices of parents, partners, or friends renting space in your mind. The constant static of what do they need? How do I fix this? Am I too much? Finally shuts off. Now there is only one voice left, yours. And at first it feels terrifying, like standing in an empty cathedral after a lifetime in a noisy market. But then the healing starts. You remember what you like, what you actually think, what you want for dinner without asking 5 people first. You replay old conversations and suddenly see where you betrayed yourself to keep peace. You grieve the years you spent shrinking, and you forgive the little kid who thought love meant never saying no. Jung wrote pages about this phase. The empath finally does shadow work. They look at their own anger, jealousy, need for approval, all the dark parts they buried to stay the good one. They stop running from the shadow and shake its hand. This is the real death and rebirth. One patient told Jung she spent 3 straight months speaking only when absolutely required at work. At home, she was completely quiet. Week 1, panic. Week 4, boredom. Week 8, something shifted. She started laughing at jokes on TV without checking if someone else laughed first. She bought groceries she actually wanted instead of what her family liked. She caught herself in the mirror smiling for no external reason. When she came back to therapy, she said, "I thought silence would kill me. Turns out noise was the thing killing me." Jung simply nodded and wrote one line in his notes. "The self has entered the house. In the silence, you are not empty. You are being rebuilt from the ground up into someone who can never be controlled again." Here's what almost nobody understands. The silence isn't the healing. The silence is the operating room where the healing finally gets to happen without interruption. And when the surgery is done, the empath who walks out is psychologically unbreakable. Because one day the silence ends. But the person who starts speaking again is not the same person who stopped. What they say now, and more importantly what they refuse to say, changes everything forever. Stay with me, the next part is where people beg the old you to come back. And you finally realize the old you is gone for good. One day the phone rings. You pick it up. You speak. And the person on the other end freezes because the voice they hear is calm, clear, and completely unfamiliar. The silence doesn't last forever. It ends when the new you is ready. Jung watched it happen again and again. The empath opens their mouth and short, clean sentences come out. No long explanations. No apologies for existing. No begging to be understood. Just facts, boundaries, and the truth served ice cold. I'm not doing that. That doesn't work for me. No 3 letters that now feel like a full speech. People who were used to 10-paragraph replies get 1 line and panic. They try the old tricks. Guilt, tears, yelling, love bombing. Nothing lands anymore. The target has been removed. You say 1 calm sentence and watch someone who used to control you completely fall apart. Feels strange. And a little bit awesome. A patient returned to family dinner after 7 months of silence. Her brother started his usual sarcastic attack. Old her would have cried and fixed it. New her looked at him and said, "I'm not available for that anymore." Then she kept eating. The brother turned red, shouted, "Who do you think you are?" She answered, "Someone who finally knows." The table went silent. Jung later called it one of the cleanest boundary moments he ever witnessed. Your new voice doesn't shout. It simply refuses to negotiate with people who never negotiated with your peace. Here's the part that shocks everyone. The empath isn't colder now. They're warmer than ever, to the people who deserve it, and ice to the people who earned it. That's not cruelty. That's fairness. And when this new voice starts showing up everywhere, family, friends, work, the entire system around the empath has to change. Some people grow. Some people leave. Both are perfect. Next, we'll see exactly how the ripple effect works and why losing people is actually the final proof you won. Stay with me. This is the part that makes everything worth it. When one empath stops playing the old role, the entire room has to find a new seat. Some stand up and grow. Others grab their coat and run. Both reactions tell you exactly who they always were. Jung called it the purification effect. The second you stop absorbing toxicity, the people who fed you toxicity have 2 choices: evolve or exit. The narcissist loses their favorite supply and either finds a new target or finally faces a mirror. The avoidant parent suddenly has to feel their own feelings and either learns or blames you forever. Healthy people feel uncomfortable at first, then step up and meet the new you with respect. Whole friend groups reorganize. Family dynamics that were held together by your exhaustion fall apart and rebuild cleaner. Jung watched families heal decades of damage in months, simply because one person stopped enabling it. You lost 3 close friends in 1 month and somehow felt lighter than ever. That's not loss. That's dead weight finally dropping off. One patient went silent, then spoke with her new voice. Her alcoholic father raged for weeks, then quietly joined AA. Her enabling mother screamed she was selfish, then started therapy herself. 6 months later, the father said, "I only got help because you stopped saving me from myself." She smiled and answered, "You're welcome." Every person who walks away when you choose yourself is proof you were never the problem. Here's the beautiful truth. Your boundaries didn't destroy your relationships. They revealed which ones were real and which ones were just transactions. And when the dust settles, you're left standing in a life that finally feels like yours. If you're in the silence right now, or just starting to speak with your new voice, this next step is waiting for you. Stay with me for the final message. It's the one that ties everything together and shows you exactly what to do next. The empath who went silent is no longer in the room. In her place stands someone calm, crowned, unbreakable. The giant didn't just wake up. She finally stood up. Carl Jung watched this transformation dozens of times and wrote the same line over and over. The breaking point was never a breakdown. It was a breakthrough. Your silence wasn't the end of your story. It was the first page of the real one. Everything that left had to leave. Everyone who stayed chose the real you. And the power you spent a lifetime hiding is now simply who you are. You look in the mirror now and don't recognize the eyes looking back. Good. The old you would never have survived what the new you is about to build. You were never too sensitive. You were a sleeping sovereign who finally claimed her throne. If you're in the silence right now, breathe. You're exactly where you're meant to be. If you've started speaking again with that new calm voice, keep going. The world is about to meet the version of you it spent years trying to keep asleep. Your next big step is waiting inside the Alchemist's path, perception training for empaths. 236 pages of drills, Jung-based boundaries, and 3 exclusive chapter videos that turn overwhelm into unbreakable clarity. Beautiful downloadable ebook. Ready right now at surrealmind.com. The quiet queen in you has waited long enough. Go claim your training. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next dimension.